An NYPD officer has been charged with misconduct by the Civilian Review Board. I have a bunch of malicious prosecution updates. Let's get into it. Hey, what's up, guys? Long Island Audit here, back again with another video. Thank you all for joining me for this live stream. I really appreciate it. It's good to be here with all of you. So I did a live stream earlier with my attorney, but that one, there was some technical difficulties, so I wanted to do this one again, but there's going to be a lot more information in this one and much more context. So let me bring up everything. So we had court today in Nassau County District Court. So let me remind everybody what case that is. So let's pull up the video. I'm recording the law enforcement officer, of course, of her duty.
Hello, sir.
Hey guys, how are you doing?
How are you?
Do you mind if I get your names and badge numbers?
Officer Goldberg, 4682. Okay.
And your name?
Officer Bastino, 4624.
Thank you.
At this time, you are being arrested. Okay, you're trespass banned from this location. So please put your hands behind your back. Okay.
How am I trespass banned?
There's multiple reports about you. Okay, please put your hands behind your back.
How am I? I'm not going to resist you. I'm not resisting in any way.
That's fine.
I'm not.
Thank you so
I'm
much.
not going to resist in any way.
Thank you, sir.
I'm not resisting you. When was I trespass banned?
There's multiple reports in September, I was told.
Well, I didn't receive anything. How am I supposed to know? And plus, I'm engaged in a constitutionally protected activity. All right. So you heard clearly, well, you officer, Nassau County police officer under Patrick Psycho Ryder, said that I was trespass banned. You're under arrest. You're trespass banned from this location. When was I trespass banned? There's been multiple reports about you being trespass banned since September. Now, that's just not true. I was never trespass banned from that location, the Nassau County Traffic and Parking Violations Bureau. Never was I trespass banned. I was arrested for criminal trespassing, and then once I'm in the vehicle, the officer tells me, oh, no, you're being charged with contempt of court. They don't even know how to conduct a conspiracy correctly. They don't know how to retaliate and coordinate with each other. They are so out of their league. You would think that they would know at least how to, get all their ducks in a row. They're arresting me for one thing and charging me with a completely different and more serious crime. So we showed up for a trial. We showed up for our court date today, not trial, excuse me. We showed up for the court date today. We were arraigned last time we were there. The court date was just a new prosecutor was handling the case. Dana Grossblatt was there, the bureau chief there. And, they don't like us. They want to retaliate against us. The judge that was assigned to the case actually recused herself from one of my previous cases. She was very nice to me in the courtroom, and she said, I'm going to have to recuse myself again. So there will be a different judge. Apparently she knows one of the witnesses inside of the Nassau County Traffic and Parking Violations Bureau. She knew one of them in the Health and Human Services building. So she's a very popular judge. So she knows a lot of people. So she has some conflicts of interest, or at least an appearance of a bias or a conflict of interest. So she did the right thing and recused herself from the case. So on December 10th, I will be going back to Nassau County District Court, where there will be another judge there, and the prosecution will have to turn over the more discovery. I do have the body camera footage. I will be sharing with you the body camera footage this Sunday at 10 a.m. So make sure you subscribe, have notifications turned on for that. Other than that, it was a pretty quiet court date. Dana, the bureau chief there, who works right under Donnelly, the district attorney of Nassau County, does not like us one bit. She does not like people exercising their First Amendment right. She thinks that this is all one big game. This is my life on the line, my freedom. I'm fighting for all of our constitutional rights. I'm fighting for transparency and accountability in our government. And Dana Grossblatt just doesn't see that. The bureau chief over there at the district attorney's office. It's sad to me that she can't see it. She's just part of this conspiracy. We will be filing a federal lawsuit. There's a conspiracy in Nassau County to arrest me, take away my freedom, and violate my constitutional rights. That's what it is. It's retaliation. It's First Amendment retaliation. And that's what's going on here. They've already arrested me twice. Remember, I've already been arrested twice by this department, charged twice, and beat both charges for facial insufficiency. And in this one, they didn't even know what they were arresting me for. I don't understand how the world can't see what is going on here. It's ridiculous. So I just wanted to get into a couple more updates. They're very important updates. The NYPD at the 75th precinct. I was arrested for obstructing governmental administration, obstruction here in New York State, OGA. criminal trespassing, and trespassing. Jacob Uriel is my attorney on that, was my attorney on that case as well. That case was dismissed for facial insufficiency, as well as the Nassau one was. So it was dismissed by a Brooklyn court judge, done and over with, or at least so I thought. But just to remind you of the exact incident where they said that I was obstructing trespassing, take a look at this.
No, step back. Don't push. What are you pushing? What are you pushing him for? No one's scared. No one's scared. No one's scared. Don't touch me. Don't touch me. That's not my paper. That's not my paper. It's inside. Where inside? It's inside. What are you pushing on me for, man? What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't touch me. What are you pushing on me for, man?
What's wrong with you? If you come into the police facility, you're going to be arrested for trespassing.
For trespass? I can't trespass in a public area.
I'm giving you a warning, sir.
Don't touch me. Give me my property.
I'm giving you a warning. Alright, so step out, let go of the door.
My property's inside this building. My property's inside this building.
Alright, if you go to this door, I'm arresting you. It's as simple as that.
Grab me my property.
Alright, where's your property? Is it this?
Grab me my property.
Hey, you shouldn't drop things.
You guys
have a good day, man. Coming through those doors. If he grabs those, alright, he's trespassing. He's right inside. You got cuffs? You got cuffs? Put your hands behind your back.
Look at the law.
Stop resisting.
Look at the law. That's all I want to do is look at the law.
I'm not
Law
resisting.
enforcement
Alright, good.
officers.
I'm not resisting.
Alright.
There you go. Read this law, by the way. Alright. What am I arrested for?
Trespassing. I told you not to step into the police facility.
Trespassing, but yet I was charged with obstructing governmental administration. Obstructing. What did I obstruct there? What did I obstruct? It's ridiculous. And a Brooklyn judge thought the same thing. It's ridiculous. That's why she dismissed the charges against me for being facially insufficient. Now, this is where it gets a little bit crazy. Let me bring this up right here so you guys can see. This is where it gets crazy. Stay with me. Stay with me. I beat the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office. That my attorney was actually a bureau chief there, Jacob Uriel. My attorney was actually a prosecutor for over a decade in that very office. I beat them, dismissed. The case was dismissed from that incident. All the charges were dismissed, and they went and appealed the judge's dismissal. You see right here, this is their appeal. Appellate term docket, Supreme Court of the State of New York, appellate term, 2nd, 11th Judicial Districts. The people of the state of New York. How disgusting is that? The people of the state of New York. The people of the state of New York are on my side. They're not on the government side. Against Sean Paul Reyes. And then Eric Gonzalez is the district attorney there. Look at this. Look at this. They wrote on a misdemeanor case. If you're familiar with how the criminal justice system works, the criminal injustice system, excuse me, and you're familiar with how, normal district attorneys do things, and especially Brooklyn, where they let people get away with almost anything in Brooklyn, they took the time to write 48 pages to appeal the judge's look at this. They wrote 48 pages to appeal the judge's dismissal of my charges. So, the NYPD and New York City government, they are not messing around. They do not want people recording inside of precincts, obviously, even though it is our statutory and constitutional right. This is just what they're doing, man. This is exactly the type of lawfare that they're engaging in. It's absolutely disgusting. So Jacob will be handling this appeal. He will be responding. There will be oral arguments, as you can see here, 15 minutes of oral arguments. This is going to go before the appellate term, and Jacob's going to be handling the appeal. I have full confidence in my attorney. Jacob Uriel has been doing a great job. We have been winning a lot of cases together. So I want to show you one more thing, a couple more things actually. Stay tuned. We're gonna take a look at some stuff today. Hold on. All right. So now let's watch the rest of this video. Pay attention. Listen.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll delete.
Look at it. This is Officer Kayla Jack right here. Officer Kayla Jack. And listen closely to what she says.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll delete. I'll shut it off. He's allowed to record. I'll delete. No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll delete.
Delete
No, I'm not gonna do that.
No, I'm not gonna do that.
I'll shut it off. He's allowed to record.
He's allowed to record. Then why did you and the other 4 goons throw me out of the building, physically assault me, throw me out of the building, and then when I walk back in the building, you arrest me? If I'm allowed to record, listen again.
He's allowed to record. My camera's still on, by the way.
You were looking
My camera's still on, by the way.
for this.
One more time. Kayla needs a lot of
shut it off.
attention because she was charged by the CCRB. Kayla Jack.
No, I'm not gonna do that. I'll delete it. I'll shut it off. He's allowed to record. My camera's still on, by the way.
You were looking for this.
I was looking for what?
This interaction.
I was looking for you to take away my freedom? Why would I want you to take away my freedom?
And then blaming the person that they're victimizing. They violate my rights, take away my freedom, and then say, just like any good old manipulator, gaslighter, say, you wanted this. You wanted us to take away your freedom. No, I wanted you to uphold your oath to the United States Constitution. I wanted you to protect my constitutional rights. That's what I wanted, officers. I wanted you to do your job. That's what I wanted. And you failed miserably. And the judge in Brooklyn thought so as well. That's why she dismissed all the charges against me. And now I have a 48-page appeal by the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office run by Eric Gonzalez. And now that I have to hire Jacob, this is a whole separate part of the case. I have to hire Jacob to handle this appeal and respond to 48 pages. It's lawfare, ladies and gentlemen. They are trying to drain me financially through legal bills. They know they're going to lose. They know they're going to lose. Now, back to Kayla. Let's get right back to Kayla really quick. Let me just show you guys what's going on there. We got some updates from the CCRB. The CCRB is the Civilian Review Board for the NYPD that does nothing, as you'll see here. Hold on, let me pull it up. So this is the CCRB case number here. This is an email that I received from the squad manager, Samuel Ross. It says, Dear Jean-Paul Reyes, the Civilian Complaint Review Board has concluded its thorough investigation of the incident you were involved in. Let's go down to look at this. These are the allegations here. Abuse of authority, Kayla Jack refused to provide her name to Jean-Paul Reyes, unable to determine. Abuse of authority, Kayla Jack refused to provide her shield number, unable to determine. Police officer Kayla Jack improperly used her body-worn camera, substantiated. Command discipline A. Police officer Jonathan Ortega used physical force. Look, these are the allegations. Force, right here. Force. You just saw what happened. Hold on. We need to look at this again together, guys, because this is crazy. Make sure while you guys are here, hit that like button and share this video. Let's take a look at this again. This altercation happened after they already grabbed me and threw me out of the building. After they already had grabbed me and threw me out of the building. And then if we go here to the CCRB, Civilian Review Complaint Board, you see here, force. Police officer Jonathan Ortega used physical force against Jean-Paul Reyes within NYPD guidelines. That thuggish, goonish behavior by the NYPD, assaulting a free man, is within NYPD guidelines. To act like a thug, a bouncer at a club, and physically assault a man and throw him out of a public lobby, that's within NYPD guidelines. Look, Frank Guaman, within NYPD guidelines. Physical force against Reyes, within NYPD guidelines. Another one, within NYPD guidelines. This is substantiated. Police officer Kayla Jack interfered with Jean-Paul Reyes' use of a recording device. Hold on. Kayla Jack had nothing to do with my recording device not being able to record. The only thing Kayla Jack said was delete that shit, which sounds to me like a crime, or she's wanting another officer to commit a crime. And then he says, oh, my body camera's on. Don't say anything incriminating. And but the 4 officers who violently threw me out of the building and pushed me several times, assaulting me, and literally arrested me, preventing me from recording, they don't get charged. Only Kayla Jack. Well, she deserves it. Unable to determine. Lopez refused to provide his name. The board's penalty recommendation takes into account all the allegations substantiated against the officer, as well as the officer's disciplinary history. P.O. Kayla Jack, substantiated charges. And then that gives me a number to call them to reference this. You know, this is all public information. If you'd like to call them as a concerned citizen and react to this, that's your right to do so. And here's the case number up here. But that's what's going on. So Kayla Jack was charged within the NYPD department through the Civilian Review Board, Civilian Complaint and Review Board, excuse me. She was charged for, you know, interfering with my right to record. Somehow the other ones weren't. Somehow the other ones weren't, you know, found to have been excessive use of force. I don't really understand it, to be honest with you, but that's just the way the CCRB handled it. So I'm just bringing you the news there. Let me see. And I also want to give you guys one last update when it comes to Schenectady. So Schenectady, if you're not familiar with Schenectady, this is why I have videos for everything, ladies and gentlemen. I want to keep you guys in the loop, give you context. I know I got a lot going on. There's a lot of fighting going on for our constitutional rights all across the country. Schenectady, New York, I was arrested for filming inside of City Hall because of the mayor, Gary McCarthy, said it was an executive decree that no one can record. He hates transparency and accountability in the First Amendment, apparently. So this is what happened there. My business and get out of here.
Yeah, right. Can't interrupt business.
Right.
Which includes, you know, sometimes if you're filming employees while they're doing their job and it makes them uncomfortable and they leave their desks.
Well, I'm not, respectfully, sir, I'm not responsible for everybody's feelings.
Past you, right?
Yeah. I'm not, I don't, my responsibility is not anybody's feelings. Anybody could feel, they could look at me and look at my face and feel uncomfortable. I don't know, but I'm just trying to conduct my business here, and he's saying that I'll be trespassed from the building. So if I don't stop recording or don't leave the building, are you going to arrest me?
So based off of the no filming, which is posted before the security checkpoint, and your advisement, if you don't stop filming and refuse to leave, then you'll be charged with trespassing.
Also, you're going to have to go ahead and do that.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
I'm sorry. You're going to go ahead and do that, sir.
Okay. Well, then I'm just going to have you put down your phone. Put down the phone. So we don't break it.
Engaged in the constitutionally protected activities. So there you have it. That's the incident in Schenectady where Mayor Gary McCarthy thinks that he is the king. He is a dictator. He is a ruler. He issued an executive decree stating that you cannot film inside of the People's House, City Hall. I think he's getting City Hall confused with his workplace and the People's House. I think he thinks that he owns it and that he is the end-all be-all there. He's just a public servant. You know, always keep this in perspective. Those judges, the judge I saw today, the judge I'm going to see, all the judges I've ever seen, all the judges you've ever seen, police officers, mayors, councilmen, the president, they're all just public servants. Don't think too highly of them. They're just public servants. You know, they're there to do a public service for us, which is a good thing if they're doing it right. But a lot of the time, as we see on this channel, they don't do it right. And that's just the way it is. It's a very unfortunate consequence. But the Schenectady City Hall, the trial, the judge found that I was guilty of the violation, not a crime. Still haven't been convicted of a crime while auditing, beating all those charges. But I was found guilty of the violation of trespass, and I was given a $250 fine for it. Jacob and I, we are appealing that case, and Jacob is with me right now. I'm going to bring him up so he can be with us. Jacob, good to see you. I can't hear you.
Hey, Sean, how are you?
There you go, Jacob. Jacob, I know the people love you. I know we had a busy day today in court, so I appreciate you taking the time to be here.
It was a bit of a long day, but I'm very, very happy as always to be here again.
Right, again, always here, Jacob. I mean, you have, former prosecutor, over a decade, bureau chief for the Brooklyn DA's office. So while you're here, let's go down everything that I've talked about in this video. Let's go start with Nassau, the Nassau County District Attorney, the Nassau County case, where I'm charged with contempt of court, criminal trespassing, and the violation of trespass. What is it? What is your thoughts on the case generally? I don't want to get into specifics, but just your thoughts on the case generally after reading the complaint, the complaints that were against me, what happened in court today, the vibe you got from the bureau chief over there, and just any of your thoughts on the case.
Sure. So of the three charges, the most viable and least guaranteed to win is the trespass count, the violation count. The criminal trespass, I think, that's sort of well settled law at this point, both, within the state and specifically as applied to Sean Paul Reyes. I think we've had enough courts decide that there is no criminal trespass in a public building in terms of the enclosed area provision that they're charging with.
And I would just push back really quick. I know about people say I interrupt you a lot, but I got to push back really quick. I was never trespassed from the building.
Correct. Well,
I was never even asked to leave the building. We watched the video.
Right. No.
Let's watch it again. Let's watch it again.
No. I very well remember this video.
All right.
But what I was saying was that it's the most viable charge based on the stuff that they wrote in their paperwork. Okay. And this is something a lot of people have trouble with. This is what really happened and what they're claiming. And if I remember correctly in the complaint, they had written some things that I think are objectively untrue. Right. So I'm still at the case sufficiency stage, which is, you asked me about the complaint. And the complaint wise, I could see the trespass based on what they wrote, although I don't think it's factually accurate, even close to factually accurate. So that's
it's not. There's video evidence.
Right. Well, we know it's not. But when it comes to the criminal trespass legally, I just don't think it makes it out. The one that
we've beaten that case already multiple times.
Yeah. The one that gives me a headache, and I mean that, is the contempt charge, which I think is
contempt of court.
Right, contempt of court. Right. I mean, in a nutshell, a court order has to be processed on you. It can't just be, oh, the judge put up a sign, no gum in the courtroom. Ask contempt of court, you're chewing gum, right? It's got to be something where you were directed to do something. You were personally served. You had an opportunity to review and understand. This is not, to me, this is just, it's so insulting to me that the DA's office is charging that and hasn't backed away from it. I think it's just, to me, that charge is just, I think it's a farce. Like it really just, as a lawyer,
it's one hell of a farce. It's a class A misdemeanor carrying up to a year in jail and like or 3 years of probation.
That's why it bothers me so much, because it's really just not an appropriate use of the charge. It's just not, in my view, it's just not the right thing to do, that charge. I think objectively, a reasonable prosecutor say, look, whatever we think about the other counts, which again, you might want to reinterpret, Leonard and all these other cases, but to say that someone has a lawful process that they've ignored of the court when there was no process, it's just like I can't get my brain around it. It's only, I cannot get. I can't wait to see what they put in a motion and dismiss. I'd love to read their arguments, and we could break them down at that point, because it really gets to me, Sean. It really gets to me. I apologize. I forgot.
No, it's fine. We all know you get a lot of calls. So
that was those charges. Yeah.
Right.
The other case, you asked me about the other case also.
No. So I just want to make clear to everybody, I was never told to leave. There is no trespass case. There is no criminal trespass case. Jacob and I have beaten that charge multiple times in New York State already. I don't understand why. And it's my opinion, it's malicious. That's why I titled this video "Malicious Prosecution Update." This is malicious. When you see the vitriol that these Nassau County employees, the cabal of Nassau County elites and employees, including Donnelly, Patrick Psycho Ryder, the police commissioner, they're coordinating, and you could pretty much see that from the video. They're coordinating in order to try and get me on something. And then when it feels like that video, when I watch it, it feels like, oh, we were supposed to tell them to leave and we didn't do that. So now let's just throw contempt of court on here and see if that sticks. And to me, and I know that's why, Jacob says it bothers him a lot, because he was a prosecutor, right? So he has dealt with these kinds of things before. He's prosecuted people for committing crimes before. So he's never seen anything like this before. Right. Yeah. He started representing me, and he told me, he says, I've never seen anything like this before. This is not normal from what I'm seeing. So speaking of not normal, let's move on to the Brooklyn case. So we all just watched how I was thrown out of the building. Kayla Jack, the NYPD officer, says, delete that shit, referring to my video. What I was telling the people that the state the Brooklyn District Attorney's Office has appealed the judge's dismissal of all the charges for being facially insufficient.
Yeah, they sure did. And
I showed all 48 pages, by the way.
I think you owe your viewers an apology in that case, but they had to look through 48 pages of
no, it was quickly. It was very quickly.
Fair enough.
Quickly.
So look, in a nutshell, they're challenging the court's decision as to everything except the criminal trespass, because even the Brooklyn DA's office, they're conceding that the criminal trespass doesn't apply in this case. So, but they are appealing the court's rationale as to facial sufficiency. They're trying to get that OGA charge back in, which is another Class A misdemeanor punishable by 364 days in jail. They're trying to get the judge's understanding of speedy trial reversed. And look, there's a lot of stuff in there, and I'll be the first to tell you they've only sent it to us recently. I haven't had a chance to fully read it yet, so I don't want to get too much into the weeds on that. But in a nutshell, their primary argument with the OGA, the obstructing governmental administration, is that you blocking the door is enough to get them to a trial. And it doesn't matter that they didn't say how you blocked the door, that they wrote it in a conclusory manner. In their mind, it's facially sufficient, right? And your viewers have to understand, we are not at trial in any of these cases. We're in the motion stage, where the question is, does the document that the government has charging you, does that document sufficiently lay out a charge, if true, to get us to a trial? So none of this is me telling you, look, a trial, this is enough or not. It's just a question of, on paper, was there enough to go forward? And that's what they're really fighting about, is whether or not they had enough on paper. And in a lot of ways, this case has implications in a much wider context, because if they can get away with a conclusory and vague language that leaves, very little concrete information, that you actually did anything actively, because you're being pushed out the door, it'll make it easier for prosecutors throughout the state, if an appeals court says this is okay, to charge people with crimes on very flimsy allegations where they are intentionally vague about what happened, right? Where the facts don't actually support what happened. So I think it actually has a lot of importance, their appeal, in terms of where, if they win, what that would mean for the state of the law in New York when it comes to sufficiency of complaints.
Right. I think it's very important that, we fight this, thoroughly and effectively. I know that you are very anxious to fight this appeal that Brooklyn has submitted.
I wouldn't put words in my mouth. I'm anxious to see you win. Do I personally want to do the work? I'm happy to, absolutely.
Okay. Thank you, Jacob. I appreciate that. The people appreciate you too. You appreciate all your hard work. So yeah, at the end of the day, they're appealing it. This is the 48-page document here. The brief that they filed. Again, this is absolutely insanity. I'm not going to read this whole thing for you guys, but again, Jacob pretty much summarized what they're trying to say, and they're trying to say that their accusatory instrument was enough, that it wasn't facially.
Sean, I think I saw that word, like this whole section. Go back a couple more pages. I think I saw here the court account obstructing, facially sufficient, bottom of page 31. You see that? And
the lower court's conclusion that the count of obstructing governmental administration as second degree was facially insufficient rested on the court's statements that the information failed to provide factual allegations indicating how the defendant prevented the officer official function or what official function was being obstructed, that the conclusory allegations that the defendant prevented the door from closing is at best vague, and that the allegations do not demonstrate how the defendant prevented the door from closing, i.e. whether it was by means of intimidation, physical force, or interference, and what the government function was being obstructed. Yet what government function is being obstructed by a door not closing?
Right, and what they're saying is, Sean, it's not just your case, because appeals case law applies throughout whatever the jurisdictions of the appeals court.
Right.
They're basically saying we can be vague, we can be conclusory, and we should still be able to charge you with a crime, right? And I don't agree with that. There's no way to put it. I just fundamentally don't agree that you can wing it that way, right? That's just bootstrapping, right?
Yeah.
We don't have the evidence, so we'll write a complaint that you could read a certain light, maybe, even though we know it's not really what happened, just to get us to trial.
That would 100% fully defeat the purpose of filing a motion to dismiss based on facial insufficiency.
It defeats their obligation to give a complaint that lays out a crime in the first place.
Right.
It basically would be like saying, well, the DA, as long as they, here, Sean, I'm charging you with murder. Here is my factual complaint. Oh, what? There's nothing there? Just a couple words on paper? It doesn't add up to anything?
It'll come out in trial.
Right. It's not a trial. Right. So we're gonna drag you in front of a jury because we wrote a couple words on paper that don't add up to anything. Right. And that's what they're really trying to tell in my view, what they're trying to tell the appeals court is their argument, is that we don't really have to reach any of these standards that the judge or the law have set. And I worry not just for you, but for other people in the state, where that could go if they win.
Right. It's definitely an important case for sure. And I just want to show everybody I didn't obstruct anything.
What are you pushing back? What are you pushing him for? No one's scared. No one's scared. Don't touch me. That's not my paper. That's not my paper. It's inside.
Where inside?
It's inside.
What you
pushing on me for, man? What are you doing?
Step away from me.
What are you doing? Don't touch me. What are you pushing on me for, man?
All right, listen, if you come into the police facility, you're going to be arrested for trespassing.
For trespass? I can't trespass in a public area.
I'm giving you a warning, sir.
Don't touch me. Give me my property.
All right, I'm giving you a warning. All right, so step out, let go of the door.
My property's inside this building. My property's inside this building.
All right, if he goes to the...
That, ladies and gentlemen, me holding the door open, as you just saw right there, that is their claim for an obstruction charge.
Yeah, and I'll point out, you're allowed to film outside the precinct, even by their rules. You're already outside the precinct. What?
This right here,
that door to be closed. Like what law? What government function?
It's the function of keeping the door closed, even though the door was open when I got there, and the door was open. You'll see it's open on the second. There's two sets of doors.
I just got it, and honestly, I think you messed up. I got it. Our taxpayers are paying for that precinct's air conditioner, and if and our officers need to be comfortable. So if you keep that door open, man, you're bleeding the AC. You are obstructing the government. I think I just made their case for them. I'm sorry, man.
But Jacob, look. I put my hand on the door because I'm trying to access the building, which I have a right to be in. And then look, he says, all right, never mind. And then he walks back in.
Grab me my property.
Where's your
This
property?
door is open.
Is it this?
Grab me my property.
Hey, you shouldn't drop things.
You guys are out of
Have a good day, man.
I shouldn't drop things while I'm being assaulted.
Coming through those doors. If he grabs those, all right, he's trespassing.
Does it look like the officer cared about the second set of doors at that point? No. So again, it's not an official function. It is what it is. It's absolutely ridiculous. Moving on, I just want to give you guys an update on everything. Moving on, what was the last thing I wanted to talk about was Schenectady. So Schenectady, as you all know, that was Jacob and I's. We are now 4-1. 4-0 still when it comes to criminal charges. Violations, we are 0-1. So violation is like a speeding ticket. That's what it's in, the same classification as those kind of violations, infractions. And a Judge Tanika Frost from Schenectady, City of Schenectady, found me guilty of simple trespass, the violation, stating that she found that the appeals court found, or another court, Supreme Court of Schenectady County, found that the mayor's executive decree was constitutional. So we're going to be filing an appeal on that case. Jacob, if you want to give like a little rundown on that, then we'll get out of here.
Sure. So I think we can't appeal her factual determinations, but we could certainly appeal her legal conclusions and the way she conducted the trial. I think one of the, obviously, look, it goes without saying that, we believe that there is a constitutional and statutorily protected right to do what you were doing, especially when you were filming the police exclusively at the time of your arrest. All those things she didn't really address. She kind of glossed over them. The other issue is the legality of this executive order and the ability of a mayor through executive decree, to say, okay, I'm going to, take people's liberty away. Your job as the mayor, as the executive, is to help enforce the laws of the legislature. That's why the police are a mayoral agency. We have a separation of powers in this country. The mayor can't just say, oh, you know what? I'm going to make this rule, and now the police are going to enforce it. I'm going to bypass the legislature. We're going to create a rule that has the effect of taking people's liberties away for doing something that's otherwise legal, that's otherwise constitutional. That's the whole problem there, right? And this is what a lot of people don't get. Why does it matter? Well, some guy videotaping. Because it's about all of our rights, right? And if they can say that if the mayor, without any government accountability, because the court doesn't want to deal with it because it's not the proper venue, the legislator can't deal with it because he circumvented them, say, okay, well, you can only come to the building if you have, you can't come into the building if you have shorts on. Well, it's not rational. There's no reason, right? Oh, well, you can't come in the building if you're filming. Why? Right? Like, what about the filming disrupts your ability to do your job? What is it that you're doing that you don't want on camera? In areas that are publicly accessible, right? We're not going behind the scenes. None of that's happening. So why is it such a big deal? And we'll never know the answer if people aren't allowed to do that, right?
Right.
And it really concerns me the way that policy came about, right? Because it's almost, it's one thing when the NYPD makes a policy. That's not good. When a mayor just says, you know what, I have ultimate responsibility for upholding the law in this jurisdiction as the mayor and following the law, I'm going to just create my own rules because that's what I want to do. I have a real problem with that. And I think most people would.
It makes me, I thought about it and, it makes me think about, why not go to the legislature and as the mayor, you can write a bill. Why not write a bill and try and have it passed by the legislature? Why go through this, end around to write the executive decree? To me, it sounds like, he either can't get the legislature's support on such a bill, or he knew that it was going to be tested. And this was the easier, quickest way to just get it in. And you heard the officer, it's to protect people's feelings. And, I guess the government's job is to protect how people feel based on some sort of, innocuous activity. If somebody was scared of, really sick, anybody over 6'5", you're too tall to come in here. You're intimidating people. You're a big buff guy. You're intimidating everybody.
I'll tell you real quick. When I was in high school, I had a high school teacher I came up to ask about a grade. And she then complained. And she said, I didn't say anything threatening, but she was intimidated by me because I'm much bigger and taller. And I spoke to her outside the building. I ran into her outside the building. And I remember thinking to myself, like, how can you be afraid of something that has, like, I'm not doing anything, right? And when you're filming, what are you doing, right? You're existing with the camera, right? If you have a photographic memory, you can get the same information. So I don't really understand why someone's subjective discomfort should affect your rights. I really don't.
Right. All right, guys, listen, I wanted to do one more thing before we get out of here. It's very important. Thank you, 4,000 of you, for still being in here. Hit that like button and share this video. This for those of you who decide to stay to the end of this video. It's going to be 40 minutes long. For those of you who stood to the end when it's static, and for those of you here live, I would like to share something very special with you. I received an anonymous package delivered to my home, to my residence, and I don't have a P.O. box set up. If that's something you guys are interested in, I will definitely get one. I don't have a P.O. box or anything like that, but I did get something very special sent to my house, again, anonymously. So if you know that you bought it for me, if you gifted me this amazing gift I'm about to show everybody, please reach out to me and, show me the receipt. I need proof it was you. And I would love to talk to you. And I would love to thank you personally for this amazing gift, because this is not something that I could buy for myself. This is honestly one of my most treasured gifts that I've ever received. I called Jacob as soon as I got it.
Yeah, he did. I was about to say, he called me right away. He's like, bro, you won't believe what I got. I was like, all right. Yeah.
All right, drum roll. P.O. box is a good idea. All right, I'll get a P.O. box and I'll put it in the description. This is it, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can. Long Island Audit, best YouTube auditor channel, greatest of all time. Hold on, I gotta get it so I can. Look how cool this is, guys. This is so cool. This is Listen, whoever bought this for me, sincerely, thank you. I truly appreciate it. I have no words, really. I have no words. This is, I always say this is us. We do it together. Without each and every one of you watching right now, without each and every one of you who hit that like button, who donate, who support, who share the videos, who comment your thoughts down below, helping my reach. None of this is possible without the people. So that's why I always try and remain very humble in what I'm doing and understand that I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for each and every one of you watching. I would just be some guy talking to a screen right now with nobody watching me. So I just want to say I really appreciate all of you. Thank you for whoever sent me this. The goat statue right here. I love this thing, man. Super cool. I'm going to put it right next to my YouTube plaque and my certificates over there. Very cool. Very nice of you. Thank you. Very humbling. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Let me just check some comments and I'm going to be getting out of here. Really, it means a lot to me. I can't believe it. If you send it to me, please, I'm looking right at the camera. Send me an email. Please,
and if anyone can give me proof that he bought that for himself, I will take you out to dinner.
Huh?
If I don't take you out to dinner, proof that you bought it for yourself, I'll take him out to dinner.
Yeah, right.
If you're at the store buying it, okay, I like that one,
Yeah. So super cool, This title can only be given to you by the people. By the people. I can't give it to myself. I don't want to give it to myself. I'm not LeBron James. I don't call myself the GOAT, but each and every one of you, your support means everything to me. So thank you so much. Thank you so much. It was good citizen, LOL. Thank you, Sean. King Goat. Thank you, man. I appreciate all you guys. Yeah. And when I mentioned LeBron, I mentioned how he's always calling himself the GOAT. When you're the GOAT, you don't call yourself the GOAT. That's the number one rule, being the GOAT. That's the number one rule about being the GOAT, guys. Number one. All right, guys. Love you all. Thank you so much for being here, Jacob. Thank you. I'm going to dismiss you now. Have a nice day. We'll talk soon. All right, guys. This is it right here. This is it. Oh, I'm so happy, man. This is one of the greatest presents I've ever gotten. So thank you guys for supporting. Thank you guys for being here. Happy Thanksgiving. I will not be doing a live stream between now and Thanksgiving. Happy Thanksgiving. I hope you guys also enjoy your day, special day with your family. Remember, politics in this country is very, there's a lot of things happening in this country. And always remember, resist tyranny at all times. Resist tyranny. If you want to get this resist tyranny hoodie, links in the description. Use the code LIA20 for 20% off. But resist tyranny, we all don't get along. This political divide in this country, no politician cares about you. Remember that. Not one of these politicians out here cares about you as an individual. They just don't. They care about corporations, the military industrial complex. That's why I don't talk about politics, because it's just, at the end of the day, maybe I'll get involved in politics, and maybe I will in public service, not politics, public service, where I serve the people in my community, or maybe one day the nation. You never know. But again, love your families. Life is short. That's all I really got to say. So as always, stay safe. God bless. I'll see you in the next one. Long Island Audit. Peace.